Welcome back to the SBS Podcast. I'm Connor Kendall. I will be doing a solo episode this evening. Cameron Clark, he is out today. He's been a busy man these past couple days, so let him do his stuff. Hopefully, all is well, Cam. We miss you. We hope you're doing well, and we know you're a hardworking guy. You're getting things done. But since the last episode, there's been a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about. One of which we'll just start and jump right into it is in loving memory of Cam, we'll jump right up to the Angels. The Angels today get a big win over the A's. I believe it was a 10-5 win over the A's to get a sweep in that series, which they are on a 7-game win streak, which is great for the Angels, who desperately needed a boost, so to say. Since last time we mentioned, they were not so hot. But of those 7 games, that comes with also a sweep of the Dodgers, the big bad boys of the West, who are atop of the NL West. Huge for the Angels. I can only imagine Cam's feelings and reactions for this great streak, this great run that they're on. Hopefully they can keep it going. I wish I could say the same for my Sox, who are on a 1-game losing streak. But still fighting there, still fighting in the East. But can't complain. I mean, tough division, one of the toughest divisions in the MLB right now, so I can't really complain. I think we're about, looking right now, we're six back from the Yankees, 1 game back from the Blue Jays, but hey, a lot of baseball to be played. Hopefully we can get this series on a little bit of this upcoming series versus the Orioles on a good note. Today's game was postponed. I can only imagine due to weather. I can't look it up, but I would assume weather is the cause of that delay. But MLB baseball, it is going. It is great. I need to get myself out to the ballpark this year. So we'll see if they make that happen. I know Cam he has seen a lot of baseball this year. I think he's been, I'm not sure if he's been to a Bees game yet. Can't remember. I know I haven't. I need to get out there to the America First field, I think it is now, up in Harriman. Brand new, spanking new. Ticket prices are a little crazy though. I think they're like upwards of $40 starting out. So for a minor league game too, which is crazy because I could go to a major league game for much less than half that price. So that's premium dollar for a major league game, $40. You kidding me? But brand new stadium, gotta pay for it somehow. So other baseball news though, Cam has seen a lot of the BYU team this year. We've kept tabs on them pretty consistently through their season. A big news story, it's a little old now. They kind of put a little shockwave into the Big 12 tournament with getting a win over Arizona State, who I believe was the 5 seed in the tournament. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're the 5 seed. BYU was the 12th seed, which was the last. They snuck in. They beat the Utes to snag that spot. And they beat the Devils. I think they beat them 4-0, 3-0, somewhere around there. Can't remember, but huge win, but sadly I think the Cinderella story came to an end this evening tonight, I believe, against the Wildcats. I think they lost 4-1. I think Arizona hit back-to-back homers, hit back-to-back homers, then the Cougs got on the board in the 8th, but then Arizona answered right back before the Cougs could get something rolling. But pretty good season. As far as in conference play, not so strong, but overall not bad. I mean, they made the tournament. I don't think anyone was expecting them to make the conference tournament. So props to the Cougs for getting it done. Hopefully checking off a box for their season goals. Let's hope we can see that, but transition to other sports because, well, if you haven't heard the news, we need it. Probably won't take too much time on this topic, just since it's still developing and it's a little touchy in some areas. But yesterday afternoon, news broke out. BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff is having some charges against him in a civil suit. The R word, I don't know exactly if I want to say all that or get into it, but there's allegations for Mr. Retzlaff in that regard. Not a whole lot has been said. The individual pressing these charges, there's some evidence via her, apparently. Provo PD was originally involved in the incident. It took place November of 23. So it was a little while ago, about a year and a half ago. According to the individual, Provo PD kind of brushed it to the side a little bit, essentially saying that it's kind of a long shot in a sense, since the individual did not want to come forth with Retzlaff's name at the time. So I guess she just kind of held on to this until recently to then press civil charges against Retzlaff, which is very interesting. On the radio today, Hans and Scotty on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, they had a law representative, I'm sure he's in criminal law, came onto the show, and they're talking, and Hans was asking, what is the difference, and why did she choose civil instead of criminal? And I found it very interesting that essentially the main reason why people choose civil over criminal is to get a bigger payout. Now, this story is still developing, so I'm not taking any sides here. Hope for the best outcome. I don't know what that is exactly. I hope everyone gets a fair trial. I think there might be a jury involved, which is not unusual for civil trials, but it was requested, and that request will more than likely go through, so there will more than likely be a jury present for this case. When the case will go through is unknown. I've heard it could be any time between 6 to 15 months. Like, it's a pretty wide range, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But prayers, best wishes to that individual, to Retzlaff. Hopefully everything can be settled and we can get more light on this story. Let's move on to a little bit of a brighter note. BYU basketball. There have been a lot of media videos coming out for the Cougs, some off-season practices. AJ is in Provo now. If you want to look over to the BYU social media page, there have been videos coming out with the practices, and boy, does he look good. Does this team look good just overall? Great. Great to see the production, to see how things are flowing. Rob Wright, I believe he is coming. He recently just got surgery on, I want to say his wrist. I could be wrong, but he is in Provo, I believe. I don't think he's not practicing yet with the team, but hopefully that bonding, that chemistry is building with the new guys. I'm excited. sounds like Kevin Young is very excited for this season, for this team. I mean, he talked about the continuity of the team, the chemistry, the locker room is great. It's probably more than he could have asked for, which is it's a good sign going into this upcoming basketball season. Upcoming, a couple months away, but football is not a couple months away. I think spring game happened a while ago. I think we're getting up closer to fall camp. I think it's only 5 weeks away, so it's going to come up on us quick. Big discussion, obviously, is QB situation. We already discussed kind of the big headline on that. But as far as what the results will be regarding the legality side of things and the educational side of things, I'm talking about BOU, what they will decide to do. Options. We have McKay Hillstead. He's transferred from Utah State, obviously. If you're in the state, you probably have heard of him. He is from Skyridge. I think he is still a redshirt freshman. He's at least a redshirt sophomore. Just pulled up. He played one season with the Aggies. I don't have it pulled up. I'm very confident in my knowledge on this stuff. He's a redshirt sophomore. No, he's not. What am I talking about? One season at Utah State. If I remember right, he had a pretty good couple games with the Aggies up in Logan. Redshirt sophomore. He's from Lehigh. He went to Skyridge High School. He was the 3 option last season. He redshirted, so he got that year back. Gary Bohannon was the number 2. In these situations, Coug fans are wishing Gary had one more year, or this was the year that Gary was the number 2, because that's a very solid option for number 2. Especially since last season he got maybe 3 snaps, and I don't think he threw the ball once and it was a pick. But I mean, what can you ask? What more can you ask the guy for when he hadn't played all season? But no, these are the times where you wish you had Gary Bohannon. The next quarterback behind McKay Hillstead is Trayson Bourget, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's a redshirt junior. He's out of Tucson, Arizona. He is a transfer from Western Michigan, where he also started for the Mustangs. I have not seen a lot of film on him per se, so I don't know his tendencies, I guess, his play style. I have heard that it was, up to this point, a battle for that number 2 spot between him and Hillstead. But now I believe you can probably throw into the mix the new quarterback transfer. What's his name? Bear Bachmeyer, I believe. I think it's Bear. You can probably throw him into the mix as well, as far as fighting for that, for sure, number 2 spot, potential QB1 position. So this fall camp is going to be interesting. It'll also be interesting to see if Kalani and A-Rod might go into the portal to grab and build that room up more. The situation is, from my point of view, is more than likely it is not going to be a good one. I don't see Retzloff playing next season, regardless of the outcome of this trial. The only outcome where he plays is nothing happened, which I hope that's the case, in the sense of he did not do those things. Um, Again, I don't want to dive into this and have a strong opinion on either side due to the lack of information, or strong information, I should say, with this case. But if you're BYU, you got to prepare and expect that Retzlaff will not be there next season. And so if you're Hillstead, if you're Bourget, if that's how you say his name, you got to act like you're fighting for that QB1 spot. If you didn't already have that mentality to begin with, which you should have, but it's up to you. It's on your guys' shoulders now. You guys got to go out there and prove to show what you got to get that QB1 spot. I'm excited to see the battle, to see the reps from the social team, hopefully during fall camp. Yeah, it's it's an interesting time. Cam and I have always said it's been a great year. This is the time to be a BOU fan. Boy, I did not know that one until this. So we'll have to keep eyes on that. Hopefully updates come sooner rather than later. Yeah. Man, this is hard without Cam. Cam has great insights on these things, so I'm definitely missing him today, but I am doing my best. Hopefully we can try and get people onto the show. Obviously I want Cam back. When Cam gets back, I mean, it'll be smooth as butter, hopefully, but hopefully we can get other voices onto the show. If anyone out there wants to hop on as a guest for the SBS podcast, reach out to me or Cam via socials on Instagram. I have an X. The SBS podcast has an Instagram page. Reach out on there. We have an email also. I think the link is in the YouTube as well as on the Instagram. But if you would be interested on joining as a guest, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear your takes and opinions. Well, moving on to the next segment, next topic. Since Cam's not here, I'll talk a little bit because it's actually quite interesting. NBA, NBA news. Playoffs are in full swing. I believe we touched on them a little bit last episode. That was in the first round, I believe. We are in the conference finals now. And boy, have they been interesting. Last night, the Pacers beat the Knicks in overtime. If no one saw how that... Well, this isn't how it ended, but this is what pushed the game into overtime. I believe the Knicks had like a 11 or 12 point lead with like 3 minutes remaining into the game. There's a couple... It's tough to say whether New York blew it or Indy fought back and won it. I mean, obviously Indy won it. Indiana won it in overtime. What was the score? Indiana won it last night in overtime, 138 to 135, on the back of Tyrese Halliburton. He had 31 points, 11 assists. Top scorer for the Knicks was Karl Anthony Towns, Cat, with 35 points, 12 rebounds. But if any of you had missed it last night, this was the play to get the Pacers into an overtime scenario.
Indiana with it. Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal, a three for the win. And no! He got it!
So that was it. It is that is one of the craziest shots. Not endings because it went into overtime. But if that was a 3, that would have been probably the craziest ending I have seen in an NBA game in clutch, crucial in a crucial game like this ever. I honestly can't think of a game or a shot to that caliber. Gosh, let's watch that again because that is just such a
Indiana with
it blows my mind. There's controversy right here whether it's a double dribble or not, but to step back and hit that in whose face is that? In Cat's face. Cat is charging you, like right there. Man, so close. His fingertips are so. Oh, he almost got a tip. He gets a tip that's not in, obviously, but the fact that they were that close to getting game 1 in New York.
Backpedal a 3 for the win, and
that is now if anyone is too young or does not know the history behind that, that is Reggie Miller's famous choke celebration, who he did. What year was it? Reggie Miller did that expression in the 94 Eastern Conference Finals. Conveniently, I didn't know it was the Eastern Conference Finals as well. Against the New York Knicks. So, in game 5. So, this was game 1. It's crazy to pull that out game 1 if you're Tyrese. In fact, we have a little audio on his comments from it as well on why he decided to do it.
In the moment, I mean, I wasn't like plotting on it or anything. Everybody wanted me to do it like last year at some different point. But it's just gotta feel right. And it felt right at the time. If I would have known it was a 2, I would not have done it. So I think I might have wasted it. If I do it again, then people might say I'm like aura farming. So I'm not, I don't plan on using it again.
So that's a great response, by the way, from Tyrese. That's a one and done, Sully, in that series especially. I think in the playoffs too. I don't think you can use that again. So he's right though. If I was seeing that shot and I knew that was a 2, not a 3, no way I'm doing that celebration. I'm not. That was one of the most iconic celebrations in sports history. So, but the fact that he had that locked and loaded basically on his holster in this series specifically to use is amazing. Is hilarious. It's great. And I believe after post game, or it might have even been right after the shot, he looked over at Reggie Miller, and conveniently Reggie Miller was commentating on that game. I think he might be doing the series. I'm not sure, but for sure last night he was on the call for that game, and they just exchanged like smiles and nods of approval. Like there might even be a reaction from Miller. Yeah, he's just pointing at him. He points at him. Let me see if you see this right there. That's what it's about right there. That's awesome. That's what you want.
Indiana Pacers won in overtime in game 1 and lead this series 1 game. Then on game 2, Friday, 7 o'clock. right here on TNT. Coming up next, inside
Yep.
the NBA, presented
I love
by
that. I love that so much. Actually, that is amazing. That's going to be a special moment for him. I guarantee you he will not forget, one, that shot, and two, probably that moment with Reggie. That just grabbed my attention into the NBA playoffs, was just based off that one game. The other, it's going to be interesting to see how New York bounces back. Because originally going into this series, I thought New York probably had it. They're just tough, gritty team, and they've just had so much momentum going into these playoffs. But after last night, I think I see Indiana taking this series. I really do. I don't know if they get tomorrow done, if they take game 2. I for sure think they get 3 and 4 at home. I think they get all home games, so I think they will close it out in 6 at least. If not, go to New York game 5 and finish it. But this is going to be a great series already. You can tell, I mean, these two teams have history. These two teams are very I don't know if historically deep franchises is the right word, but this is a great rivalry with these two clubs, especially in the postseason. Like I mentioned earlier with Reggie Miller and the choke game. I mean, that was the Knicks, so this is great. Whereas the other series, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Thunder are just smacking the T-Wolves. I don't see how the Timberwolves. I don't see how they even get one game in this series. Honestly, the Thunder are just taking away all the options for the Timberwolves. I believe. I mean, they're just taking away the big man, I believe. And Shea is just. I think Shea. There's been a lot of controversy about it with his free throws, and I don't blame him. And Ant got a little more free throws this game. He got 10, but Shea, first game, I think he got 14. He might have even got 17 if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. He did get 14. He got 14 game 1. Hit 11 of 14, and then game 2 tonight, he was 13 of 15. So I don't know if I have a strong take on the free throws per se. They're calling him a free throw merchant, which, I mean, if the refs are going to give it to you, then take it. Take advantage. If you're a good free throw, sure to get to the line. Find a way. I mean, he creates contact. He drives. He gets into the big men and forces them to foul him. So I don't think part of it is the NBA designating Shea as their new superstar, I guess, and getting all these favorable calls, but more so on Shea himself and making the refs blow the whistle, making those calls, creating those calls. So I don't see that as a factor as to why the Timberwolves are losing this series and are going to lose the series. I think part of it is the big men. They're just no factor. Gobert has not looked great in the first 2 games of this series. Another big factor is their shooting. Their shooting percentages have been awful. I think they took like 53s in game 1, and let me just say they did not even get close to hitting 30% of those, whatever the percentage was. Pulled up 51 to 15. Okay, 29%. So, yeah, just under 30%. Tonight they were not. I think they're a little worse. I think they're at 28%. So, yeah, they're 11 of 39, 28% from deep. That's not going to get done, especially with this OKC team. I think they're more of a ground and pound. They're going to be down low. They're going to take away that outside shot from you. So the fact that they can't get their big men going and they can't be hitting down, they can't knock down their outside perimeter shots, that's game over. Unless the Timberwolves can find something and improve in Game 3 in this home stretch of the series, I I don't see how Minnesota can get it done. Um, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough series. It's tough, especially with Utah ties. I would love to see Gobert, Mountain Mike, Joe Ingles get a ring. I think Mike deserves a ring for sure. He's been a superstar the majority of his career. Not so much per se when he joined Minnesota. He's kind of on the tail end, on his coattail per se, but Utah star, Memphis star, so he deserves a ring. Joe, he's a fan favorite, no matter where he was or where he will be. I think he's at a player option this year, so I can't remember. It's an option of sort. I can't remember if it's player or team option. So we could see him leaving Minnesota or just hanging up the shoes. But I love Joe. Joe's been one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA, and Rudy has deserved every bit of money that he has made and traction and coverage. I mean, he's come up from nothing essentially. He worked so hard to get to where he's at now, and so he, out of those three, I think deserves this ring. Deserves a ring, especially with all the hate, which is crazy. I think people just don't like his game. The majority. I know that's the way Shaq is. I think Shaq has a very strong opinion on Rudy. I think it's because of his physicality. He isn't as physical as most bigs, but hey. Hopefully they can turn it around. I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. I don't see how they can get it done, but I hope they can turn it around. I hope they do get it done. I hope I can see a Timberwolves Pacers finals. That'd be crazy. That'd be great. That'd be great. Great series. Some Jazz talk. Obviously, it's almost been 2 weeks. Has it been almost 2 weeks? Or was it this? I think was it this Monday? I can't remember. Was it this Monday or last Monday? I think I can't remember. The days have been flying by. It's been a crazy, crazy work week. Anyway, the Jazz, shocker, surprise, did not get lucky and get the number one overall pick. I have my own thoughts about that. I don't know if the system really works for teams like the Jazz, like the Wizards, like the Hornets, who fall. I mean, the system is supposed to say, yes, it does help you because you have a higher percentage to get those numbers to land the number one overall pick. But the fact that in the last 3 drafts, the worst team in the league has gotten the 5th overall pick, something doesn't smell right to me. If it happens next year, then I am definitely sounding the alarms, because the fact that Dallas trades Luka to LA and then basically gets possibly a upgrade, that sounds too good to be true, especially with their odds at like just over 1%, below 2% to land the number one overall pick. That feels like sticking your hand into the pile of hate and grabbing the needle first try. That is essentially what they just did. So, unless they had a guiding hand directing them to that needle, I don't see. It blows my mind. Let me see if I can find the audio. Dwayne Wade, he was on, I believe he was on a show discussing the lottery, since Dwayne Wade is a partial owner of the Jazz. And he had a take. They asked him about the lottery, and it's interesting.
They lost their best player, but they shouldn't have went home. The roster that could compete, someone who was a statue outside.
That you post.
Not only did we not get no more, good pick for the Miami Heat. You never know, but we got an opportunity to say what we want. And hey, it's a business. Now I'm not where I feel. So that was my.
Here it is. So this is Dwayne Wade. He's on USA Today Sports. The title is "If the Lottery is Rigged," but just listen to Dwayne Wade. Just this one little snippet.
My response. I've been on record talking about this billionaire business, where I feel that today it's a business. Now I'm not saying anyone is doing anything because I'm not a witness in it, but this is a business that we're a part of, and I think people forget that in the competition of sports and what we love because we grow up playing sports, and it's not a business when we grow up. But when you're in the NBA, it's a business, and the business has to do its best job to make sure that it's taken care of. And
so that's an interesting take. Now he says and he claims that he doesn't know basically the ends of everything because he was talking about the lottery, and when he mentioned it's a business, he's mentioning the NBA. I don't know if he mentioned directly the lottery in that sense, but it's something to kind of look at. Partial owner of an NBA franchise, he has more ends and more eyes on the operations than we do as outsiders. So for him to say it's a business, this is not just a kid's game. This is people's money. These are people's livelihoods. This is their success. This is a business, and they're going to do whatever it takes to run that business effectively, make deals. And earlier, when I was trying to find that point, he mentions how it's convenient how they lose their best player and then get the number one overall pick. So, conspiracy theory time again. I don't know. I've heard this one getting thrown around. The fact that maybe Adam Schefter told Dallas to ship Luka to LA, a more bigger market, more eyes, get more to make more money, essentially for the league, to get bigger games on television for the Lakers, and in exchange we'll give you the number one pick. That's a pretty good business deal if you ask me, especially if you're Nico Harris and you're not really enjoying Luka's work ethic, apparently. That was the storyline. The more I think about it now, I don't know how much I believe Nico Harris at all, especially when he made a comment, I think when it was Luka's return to Dallas, he made a comment, I didn't know he was like this important to the community. Are you kidding me? He's your star player. He took you to the finals a year ago. And you're going to say you didn't know he was this crucial to your community? I don't believe that. A blind man can see that. So, I definitely, I am on the train of the lottery is, in a sense, rigged. It's a business pitch. I think it's for these GMs, these bigger markets, to make their way into better positions, and bumps out Utah, bumps out Charlotte. I wouldn't even say DC, even though DC is not a small market, it's a pretty big market. It bugs me that people suggest that San Antonio is a small market. I don't believe that for a second. I think they're a pretty big market, especially with the history and success the Spurs have had. So I don't buy that, San Antonio's a small market and they just got the second overall pick. They've had the number one pick too. Like, no, they're not a small market. No, they're not a small market team. So we'll see. Maybe next episode we can dive deeper into the Jazz's options with that number 5 pick. I know there's been talks about the Jazz possibly trading to grab the number 3 overall pick from the 76ers, as well as keeping the 5th. There have been trade suggestions giving up their 21st pick this year in the first round and Markkanen in exchange for that 3rd pick. And then they would receive Paul George, I believe, as well. That's a hypothetical. That's a very popular one. But we can get into that another episode. But I think that will about do it tonight. We covered a lot of things, kind of got caught back up, getting in a groove. I think we'll probably get this more regular, hopefully more posting, more regular, especially if I had to, even if I had to make these solo videos, just try and keep this channel going, get our voices out there and get some little recognition and get back on track. So, try and get Cam back. We miss Cam. We love you, Cam. Hope you're doing good. Know you're grinding, so. But I'm Connor Kendall. This is the SBS Podcast.